Hello, welcome to another episode of Footprints. My name is Attah-Mensah, and today we are going to have a chat with a wonderful man. I consider him a wonderful man. He has been a lot of things to a lot of people, and somebody who stands tall from among his colleagues. I will not take the excitement out of the message, but let's watch this video. When we are done, we'll be zooming in straight and have a chat with him. Welcome to the program.
Professor Joshua Alabi, an accomplished academic, politician and sports administrator, was born on the 1st of March 1958 in Nungua, Accra. He relocated to the northern region with his parents and siblings, where he spent most of his formative years. He attended the St. John's Preparatory School and later proceeded to the TAMALE Secondary School for his high school education. Joshua Alabi then undertook a professional course in accountancy and marketing at the then Institute of Professional Studies. He later went to Europe for 2 master's degrees. Professor Alabi returned to Ghana after his studies to work. Upon his return, he ventured into sports administration and politics, where he represented the people of Nungua as Member of Parliament and became a regional minister under former President Mullins. Professor Joshua Alabi, who is famously known for the transformation of UPSA, tells the rest of his story on Footprints now.
And now you know who I'm talking about, Professor Joshua Alabi. Prof, good to see you.
Yeah. Nice to see you. Long time.
Nice to see you. It's been a while, but we see you from where we sit in our small media corner.
That's where we see you.
So, Prof, you are Professor Joshua Alabi.
Yeah.
And obviously a PhD.
No.
Okay.
No.
So tell me about your academic status, if you like, whether the prof is, whatever that is.
Yeah. You know, those days, during our time, the entry requirement to lecture in the university at that time was the masters.
Oh, okay.
I had double masters as far back as 1991.
Wow.
The first one was in 1986.
86 was your first master's program?
Yes. That was industrial economics.
Ooh.
Then I did another master's in Glasgow, in Strathclyde University in 1991. So the entry requirement to lecture in university at that time, masters.
Okay.
And based on your publications at that time, you grow.
Yeah.
So I published and it was assessed. I became a senior lecturer. I published, it was assessed, and I became a professor. It is different now. To lecture in university, the basic requirement should be PhD, even though we still have some with masters, but they are grading themselves. This is just the everything. I've been against it but I mean, that is the policy.
But why? You lived it. That's why it was so easy for me to assume that you were a PhD, because truth be told, I'm sure that
a lot of the old professors you see around in the country, a lot of them didn't go through the PhD. A lot of them,
okay.
masters.
The thing is that you
just publish.
You walk the accolades. So you've done so much with your life in academia, in governance, in politics, in leadership, that we don't find it alien to refer to you as such. So congratulations.
Thank you.
So who is Professor Alabi?
My both parents come from Nungua.
Nungua?
Yeah.
So you're a
father and mother, So I'm a Ghana.
100% Ghana?
100% Ghana.
Wow.
100% Nungua Ghana man. I was born on the 1st March 1958. I attended St. John's Preparatory Primary School.
Which one?
You know, during that time, the primary school was at where the grammar school is now. St. John's Grammar.
Yeah,
that was just a
the main
campus.
road.
It was a boarding
That's
school.
correct.
That was just a campus.
It was a big school then.
It was about the best at that time in the country. Where we had a lot of the improvements ministers and
all the ministers.
And
they used to come and
children.
show there.
Yeah, and I was a son of a mechanic.
Okay.
And my father decided to also drop me there. So it was quite a cultural
Your father was
shock
an auto mechanic, you mean?
It was just a fitter. They call it fitter. The illiterate who went through training and became a mechanic, so fitter, they called them fitter at the time. He decided to drop me in the midst of very affluent people, rich people's children, who knew how to use a fork and knife to eat.
How old were you when you entered St. John's?
St. John's around age 6, I think so, yeah. 6, yeah.
You're 6 years?
Yeah.
Oh, so you entered the primary school
Primary
boarding
school,
school?
yeah. Primary school boarding school.
Ooh.
Primary school boarding school.
Ooh.
And so, like I said, it was a culture shock because we had people who could speak very good English.
Yes.
And a mechanic stand also with them there. And their parents used to come to visit them on Sundays with beautiful cars.
With their
and my mother would take Rotro once a month to come and visit me. And the interesting aspect of the whole thing was that at any time they announced the names of those who have not paid fees, my name was number 1 because my father used to pay. I didn't know why he had to fight himself to take me there when he couldn't, but maybe he had his own reason for that. So yes, God willing, I was able to complete the primary school.
So you went to TAMALE Secondary School. Were you excited when you were going there? At this point, you'd be 11, 12 years old.
Yeah, I was around 12. I was excited because it was going to be a big reunion with me and my brothers. I was the only one in Accra. My father has 16 children, and I was the only one he dropped in that school.
But how come you didn't go into farming yourself?
You know, my father has 16 children. The firstborn was with him on the farm. The second lady, but no, the third boy, who happened to be a mechanic also at Bartholomew, resigned and joined because we needed somebody like that. So he was also on the farm. Then my brother following me on the farm. All of us cannot be farmers.
Oh, nice.
And there was something about me. My father used to say it, you know.
So 5 years in TAMALE Secondary School, how was it like?
Oh, very interesting. I was a sportsman too.
Well, I was going to come to that.
Yeah, I was a sportsman.
Right from beginning?
No, from my Form 2, then I joined the basketball team. So I was a basketballer, TAMALE Secondary School, throughout till I left. I think I was a star. I was a star.
So I hear.
I was a star. In fact, there was a match that we played in Ouagadougou. TAMALE Secondary School had some exchange programs between TAMALE Secondary School and the premier military school of Ouagadougou. It was a military school. And they come this year, we go the following year. And I quite remember the first time we went there, they knew we had a very strong basketball team. So they decided to put us under floor lights. And I've never seen floor lights before. Just to have an advantage over us here. So, we went and we played. We beat them in TAMALE, but they beat us in the Ouagadougou, but I was voted the man of the match. For the two sides to see.
Because of your skill, right?
Yeah, I was skillful. I could shoot without looking at the ring.
Without looking at it?
To be there.
So, 5 years, TAMALE. Did you do your sixth form there?
No.
Okay.
After my 5th year, I came to Accra. I went to the IPS and started a professional accounting program. I ended up with the part 3 of, so I had a jump. I ended up part 3 of Society of Company and Commercial Accountants, and then the intermediate of CIMA, which qualified me to
Is that the
teach
equivalent of CIMA now, or did you say?
No, the part 3 of this thing is the part 3 of a normal professional body, and I had only one part to complete.
Finish.
Yeah.
So just so our people will understand, Society of what?
Company and Commercial Accountant at that time.
Now, in today's professional, what
I think it's now called Commercial Accountants, yes, in UK.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, so that qualified me to teach. So when I completed IPS, I went to teach TAMALE, Northern School of Business. I taught from 5 accounting at that time.
Nobisco.
No, Nobisco. I taught there. I was the head of the accounting department there. So I went to teach at Nobisco, and for a year, then luckily I got a scholarship to move to the Soviet Union.
Which year was this?
I left for Moscow in 1981, September 1981.
This was before the coup d'etat.
Before, we were there in Kharkov, yes, that was Kharkov, when we heard the news that there's a coup in Ghana, and Jerry has come back. We're happy. We're happy.
So okay, so you got a scholarship to do a first degree.
No, it was a master's. So I spent 5 years in Soviet Union.
Oh,
5 years, yeah. Masters.
Tell me about that. You didn't have, okay, you had a professional certificate.
Yes.
Okay.
Then I proceeded.
Which kind of was equivalent to a first degree?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. And then you went on to do the masters. How come it took 5 years?
In the Soviet Union.
You loved the place?
My best, if I'm to tell you, it has been my best in life. Both enjoyment and challenges and everything. First, I was taken to the Ukraine Republic. You know, it was Soviet Union. So
yeah, that's time, yes, Ukraine,
yes. I was taken to Ukraine Republic, the university called Kharkov State University.
Kharkov.
Yeah. The university
spells with K, is that correct?
KH.
Yeah.
The boast of, the place
very
where
good school,
the first atomic bomb in the world.
That is true.
Was made in that university, Kharkov State University. I was there for a year, and we call that the preparatory, that you have to learn the Russian language. So I did my preparatory at Kharkov State University in Kharkov, Ukraine. Then after that, they sent us to our universities, and then I was pushed to Moscow, the capital of the Soviet Union, a university called Moscow Institute of National Economy. It is now the Russian Economics University. Yeah, I went there. Yeah.
Now let me ask this question: how did you get yourself into this kind of scholarship? Of all the scholarship schemes that were available?
By our campus, we were the socialists on campus, you know. Our dream was to land ourselves
in a socialist. You kind of identify with the socialist philosophy. So that's how come you got yourself
Sure. And I was eager to go to a country like that to see how practically we are.
You had some socialist idols.
I was wild. I mean, the quote Karl Marx. Opium of the masses, the Communist Manifesto. You see us juggling of these things as if we were authorities, you know. But it was when I got to Soviet Union that I realized that what we were practicing here as socialists, no. It's not. You know, we were told here that sometimes unkept hair,
it's part of
some boogaloo, sometimes you may not even Afromosis, then some dress, and that shows you are a socialist. But I went to Russia, and the first I entered the lecture hall, they were in suit. So you see, I said, what is wrong here? What is wrong here? And we're just in anything. But we have to go to the shop to buy this for ourselves.
Good.
You know?
So, okay, so this will be the beginning of your adult life, which I say, proper adult life, where you travel away from your family.
It was quite exciting, very interesting.
Okay, so from St. John's Preparatory School, right through TAMALE Secondary School, and then he came back to Accra, went to IPS, which we all now know as UPSA, something that he himself was very instrumental in. And then he flew out of Ghana to the Soviet Union. And I know that for any young person in Ghana to choose to go to the Soviet Union at the time, there must be a reason. And he tells us that he was very, socialist in his philosophy. I thought I was at some point too, but I didn't last. Because we were told that you have to dress in a Rasta way and make sure that you look But hey, so his days in Russia will come back from this break. When we come back, we'll be delving into Russia and many more. This is Still Footprint. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the program. This is Still Footprint, and I have Prof Joshua Alabi here. And I know you've been following, and it's getting very interesting. So, Prof, 81, 82. So I take it at 82 you moved from Ukraine to Russia.
Sure, yeah.
At this time, you were familiar with the language, is that correct?
Yeah.
So you could speak your way around.
Yeah.
And you met other Ghanaian students there?
Oh yeah, we were over 1,000 sponsored Ghanaian students. The Soviet Union.
In one intake or?
No.
Everybody put
yes,
together?
about 5 to 6 years. We have about 1,000.
So you're not lonely.
Yes, not lonely. We had a very strong union called the National Union of Ghana Students, USSR branch. It was very powerful, yes. And I remember in my second year I became the president of the NUCS. In fact, I contested against the incumbent, who was a PhD student, and I was just a second year. I went and then I won.
Because you could rap.
And it was, my competitors were very powerful. You know one, Vladimir Chidanso?
Yes.
Yeah, that was his team. He was the running mate to the incumbents.
Oh, nice.
And I came as a young, this thing to push them aside. It was very competitive. I won with 2 votes.
Wow.
Yes, it was at a congress in the city called, Volgograd? Volgograd. It took us some days to get there from Moscow. Wow. And the exciting thing about that is that in my university, which happens to be the Moscow Institute of National Economy, we were only 2 Ghanaians there. But there was a university called the Patisnuma University. They had a lot of them.
Yeah,
and they normally win.
Africans, yes.
They normally win. The Ghanaian students, they normally win. And they came
in their numbers.
In their numbers. You see, so for me to map up the other small universities to beat them, it was
interesting.
It was very interesting. And,
so this is where you did your first master's?
Yeah, I did my first master's. Industrial economics. Yeah.
How did you get into that? I mean, you were a typical, accounting student.
Yeah, you see, I told you I did SCC and I did CIMA as well. CIMA.
Oh, you did CIMA as well at that time?
And CIMA, at that time, the program was more of industry.
That's correct.
So it made it very easy for me there. So it was a program that I wanted to continue with.
Wow.
So industrial economics had some similarities with.
Lovely. And who are some of the Ghanaians you met? You mentioned Chidanso.
Chidanso, you know Thomas Menu, GMPC.
GMPC, former GMPC. Thomas Menu,
He was there. We have, this man was also there. Opuni was there. Opuni was there, Dr. Opuni.
Oh, Dr. Opuni.
Dr. Don Attah, who's a Soviet trained.
Dr. Don Attah, the architect.
Yeah, was a Soviet trained. For affairs, Frank Alabu. You know Frank Alabu, Goja Alabu. He was one. He became the ambassador to Russia. Yeah. We were all there. A lot of us. Dr. Naza, Attah-Mensah, Legon. Yeah. The current executive secretary of NCT, Dr. Mohamed Salifu.
Okay, so you had good company.
Yeah, we had good company.
Now, and you all shared similar philosophies. Do you find people there who didn't really care about this or?
No, yeah. They saw some. They
just came to
they saw adverts for EEC scholarships. They applied and they got. And they landed in the Soviet Union. So we had. So sometimes we should argue in our own room, capitalism and socialism.
Yeah.
You know? And it was
a big
fun.
Thing at the time.
Yeah,
it was fun, yes.
It was fun, yes.
Good.
We enjoyed the place.
And so which year did you finish? 86, 87?
I finished 1986. And I was given the opportunity to continue with my PhD. In fact, they wrote officially to me. But I felt that economics in the Soviet Union, coming back home to work, I may have to do something from the West as well. So I found a way of dropping the offer, yes, and decided to come home.
When you were coming back to Ghana in 86, did you have any ambitions of getting into politics, mainstream politics?
I knew one day I will do that, but as to when, no. But a challenge came. It was a challenge.
That's after you came?
Yeah, when I came, yeah. You know, in my second term as the NUCS president in Russia, my performance was accepted in such a way that everybody feared to contest. So I had a second term on the post. Other positions were killing contesting. But in my case, everybody feared. So I went to my second term on the post. Then I went to Europe, where we had a NUCS Europe. Now it's not only Soviet Union, Germany, Italy, all the Ghanaian students, UK. We met in Berlin for our Congress and finally elected officers. And there again, I was voted for as the president of NUCS Europe. So gradually, I was building myself as a leader. So when I came home, the first thing I did, I entered into football politics. First, I didn't go straight to national politics. I entered into football politics. I was first Olympics. The director of administration of Accra Great Olympics. Yeah, Accra Great Olympics. Then we met at GACA, and GACA made me the general secretary. So I became the general secretary of GACA. I was the general secretary of GACA when we decided to come out to some transformation in the management of Ghana football. At that time, government had all the 5 million board members. Government nominates all of them.
All the seats, yes.
Yeah. Then GACA, under our leadership, after the Tunisia 1994, you know, it was not good for Ghana, and there was a whole noise in the media. Tunisia 1994. GACA moved for reforms.
After Senegal 92.
Yeah, and Tunisia. We didn't do well. Ivory Coast eliminated, as you remember. So there was noise in Ghana. So GACA moved for some reforms in the management of Ghana football, and I was the general secretary. Then we said this time government should bring 3, and GACA will bring 2, bring 5. It was heavily resisted, but we said no, we won't agree. We play football. So finally, government accepted that.
At that time, who was the sports minister?
Attah-Mensah. It was a fight. He didn't want to accept that, you know. But finally, he agreed. And GACA went for Congress, and they voted for me to be one of the 2 to represent GACA at the management of the Ghana football. So I was a GFA member. We were 5. And at our first meeting, we shared the national teams, and I was responsible for the Blasters. So 1996, the qualified series to South Africa, I was leading the Blasters to all the qualified series. And I remember at the end of the first round of the qualified series, Barca has qualified. We won all matches under my leadership. The second round was a formality. But my last match in Sierra Leone, that's when we lost. They needed that match to qualify. And we needed that match for our ego, right? And they thought we were going to play soft. No, we didn't. But I don't know what happened to the referee. 7 minutes to time, he awarded a penalty against us. Even when we lost the match, they were still throwing stones at us. Because we have come to deprive them of this thing. Oh. So they won, and that was the only match we lost in my qualifying series.
Okay. So that took you to GFA, or GFA. At the time, this was GFA.
GFA, that was GFA, yeah. That was a GFA.
So 97 thereabouts by now.
Yeah. GFA, I was GFA member for 94.
No, from 94
to 97 when I became a Minister of State. So good. I was from the GFA.
So how was that transition? Where were you working? Was this GFA thing a full-time thing?
No. I used to lecture
okay.
at IPS.
Okay.
Then after lectures, then I moved to Accra Sports Stadium. I had an office there. So I was very busy. Straight from lectures, I drive straight to Accra Sports to do my work as a football administrator.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, how did you end up becoming a minister?
That's very interesting. Very interesting.
Because prior to this, your name had not popped up as a politician, properly so-called.
No. I think my performance at the GFA was one. So my people in Krowa spotted me, Nungwa. Actually, they came to discuss the possibility of me contesting
for the Member of Parliament in 96.
They came about 3 times. I rejected it. I said, no, I'm focused, right? So I don't know. One day we went for a GFA meeting and Attah-Mensah happened to be there. He happened to be there. And I was very vocal, I must admit, at meetings, you know. So I was talking and then he told Nana Bata, look at this man. He's a coward. They asked him to go and start a pro. He's afraid. And then here he's talking like this thing. Look at him. Are you meaning me a coward? He said, yes, you are a coward. I said, me? I'll show you, see. From the meeting, I went to Nungwa to pick the form. I went to Nungwa to pick the form. I don't know. I mean, he challenged me.
He energized you, yes.
Yeah. So I went to Nungwa to pick a form. And there was an incumbent MP. He was powerful, no? Incumbent MP called Honorable J. Taiwa of Blessed Mary. He was there. And everybody said, hey, Joshua, this man can't beat him. Just drop it. I said, me? I'll beat him. I mean, in the campaign it was lively. Everybody felt that Alabi will lose, I will lose. But I went. And the day of the Congress we went and I won with 2 votes. 2 votes. And you know the interesting thing? I got 48. The incumbent MP got 46 around that way, and the third person got 36. So it was killing contested. Wow. When they announced the result, about 100 people came to carry me. They all said they voted for me. I said, oh God, just let me do. Very interested.
Wow.
It was interesting. Then, from there, we went to the May election. And,
so then you became a member of Parliament. For Crowell.
For Crowell. So now, how...
At this time, it was Teshi and Nungwa together, is that correct?
No.
Or they were still separate?
Crowell.
Okay.
Now, Parliament, I never thought the president would make me a minister. In the first place, if you had to lobby, I didn't know how to lobby. And I'm not good at lobbying. That is me.
You're too real.
Yeah, I'm not good at lobbying. I believe that if one has to spot you, it should be through quality work. And when one gets you that way, you have to deliver for the person to know that he did the right choice. So I'm not good at lobbying, honestly. So I was in Parliament and people were lobbying. And I used to tell them, if you get minister, then make sure that you get me something small to chop. I used to joke in Parliament. One day I went to lecture at UPSA.
You mean while you were in Parliament, you were still teaching?
I converted my time to part-time now.
Yeah, but you're still teaching.
Yeah, so early morning, 7 a.m., I'll go and lecture. By 9, I move, and then by 9:30, I'll be in Parliament. So one day I got to Parliament, and I saw this gentleman. He called me, Fitzbafo. He was in the parliamentarian by then. He called me and whisked me to a corner. Then he said, he had been sent by the president. I said, what is it? That the president says he's going to make me Greater Accra Regional Minister, and that I should not tell anybody. It's to be a surprise. That's me. He said, yeah, Fitzbafo is alive. So that's what I'm saying. I've said this several times on different stages. Then I told Fitz, you mean the president sent you to me? He said, yes. And he said, full minister? He said, yes. Okay. Can I also send you to him? Oh, yeah. Okay. Then go and tell him that I'm a young man. So you should make it deputy. Then I'll learn from the minister. Then later on he can make me minister. Fitzbafo looked at me. And then he shook his head. Then he passed a comment. But post now play on the silver platter, okay? And I said, Fitzbafo, you said he sent you to me. He said, yes. So you to go and tell him what I said. That I'm young. You should make me deputy minister. Then I'll learn. Then you can make me full minister. Okay. He said, if he said so. So he left. I never heard from Fitzbafo for 2 weeks. Then he came to me. Joshua, I went and told the man. The man said, we change it. And that you can do it. And you should put your mind to it. He's not going to change it. I said, this man wants to spoil my political future. How do you rush me into this thing? Well, he said, that's what the man said. And you don't have to tell anybody. Okay. So I didn't tell anybody. And then one day, I was called by the speaker, the late Justice D.F. Annan. He called me.
Justice Annan, yeah.
Justice Annan, yeah. He called me to his office. I went. That the president has brought your name 3 times. The first time I asked him to reconsider it because I'm the head of the GANS and I'm supposed to nominate who should be the Greater Accra Regional Minister. You're a young man, you're a new man in the party. How can you be full minister? So I sent it back to him. He brought it again and I sent it to him. He has brought it, so today I'm forced to announce it, the chamber of the house. But you know what? If you don't perform, we shall sack you. Then I said, Speaker, can I also say something? He said, yes. He said, no way. Mofia moke uchuno juba ashuomo. Oh, you don't call me a J-Newty. In my combo, I heard you don't respect. In Ghana, what it means that big man, you know, every work, if you don't do well, they sack. So what you are telling me is not due to me.
Like a threat.
Don't do well. I heard you don't respect you. So we went to the chamber. That day they announced about 10 names. And normally when they announce, Quietly. When they announced my name, that was where I realized that it's good to be a nice man. Both sides got up with the other people waving, and I was seated. Jesana looked at where I was sitting. He looked at me and shook his head. He said, So I must tell you one secret. My vetting. The MPP from Kroa moved to the MPP and told them that if they dare disturb me, there will be no MPP in Kroa. The MPP from Kroa moved. And the MPP from Kroa didn't tell me they've done this. But it was, I think, Kwame Nabates who called me. He said, hey, Joshua, our people came here. What people? Our MPP guys. They said, we worry you. There'll be trouble. So these are the 3 questions. I didn't trust him.
Of course. Kwame Nabates at the time.
Yes, I didn't trust Kwame Nabates with his 3 questions. Yeah. But I went and prepared all this. My vetting was the shortest. When I entered the room, Jidman said, Alabi. Then he took his file and left.
Oh.
Then I saw a signal. Then the first question from the MPP was Bates' #1 question. The second was his second. The third was the third one. They didn't ask any question. The difficult ones came from my people. The difficult questions came from my people. That stretched me. But it was fun.
So this was 97?
97.
After the 96 elections. Yeah.
When we finished and I came out, but I said, I knew you never trusted me. I said, yes, but I prepared.
That's good. That's good.
So it went well.
So at this point, you have now landed in Parliament.
Yes.
Full-time politician, and now being nominated to be Greater Accra Regional Minister. So now he gets into the place as Greater Accra Regional Minister. That's Prof Joshua Alabi. Still here on Footprints. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll just go through Greater Accra and also go through the Northern region, which he later was asked to go and be a Northern Regional Minister. We'll be right back. This is Footprint. Welcome back to the program. This is Footprints on Citi TV, and I'm here with Prof Joshua Alabi. Now, at this point, Prof has moved to become a nominee for the role of Greater Accra Regional Minister, and indeed went through the vetting and was passed, by both sides. If I should. At the time, there were 3 parties. There were some C something P. Yeah. They kept changing the thing. So PCP or
NCP.
The Accra's party, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, good. Being Greater Accra Regional Minister for a bit over 1 year, almost 2 years, what were some of your high points? What were some of the challenges?
It was challenging. Chieftaincy dispute in Accra, which
never seems to go away.
Yeah, and you try to do your best, and a lot of man hours. You waste a lot of man hours trying to mediate. And then sanitation was also a problem. Sanitation.
Being somebody who's an indigene of Nungwa, did you have any finger pointing from the people from Gamashi or any other?
No. A guy is a guy, so we're all guys. Okay. So I had no problem. In fact, the interesting thing is that my mother also hails from Atupai. So I have that connection to me. So they also were proud to have me as a regional minister.
So you took over from who exactly?
Mike Gizo.
Yes, that's correct.
It was quite challenging, I must admit. And I was young, but I think that I did my best.
Okay. So you were there at a time when E.T. Who was then is it the time that Nuno Amatefi was
the mayor of Accra? Yes, Amatefi was the mayor of Accra. But it was changed, and Adukwadu was brought in. Yeah, was brought in for about 1 year or so. Yeah. Amatefi was there. And the work in Accra was quite challenging, flood and sanitation. And I was always on the field.
What was the plan for the college at the time?
We had a restoration project.
Was it a new project or something it was to meet?
It was on the drawing board at the AME, where I think the Odo River and about 21 other secondary drains were trying to channel all of them into one to move in, and then to make the recreational area. But it was quite difficult because moving people, I mean, sometimes our democracy said that when somebody does the right thing and want to do the wrong, somebody does the wrong thing and want to do the right thing, they have civil societies coming in, right? They have a right, they have this, but for example,
the young man who is superintendent over Greater Accra region, what were some of your desires? You wanted to be known for something when you were the minister in charge of Greater Accra. What were some of them?
Number one, I was able to move. The guys who wanted, especially from Attah-Mensah, they wanted some, what do you call it? They wanted paramountcy, right? They were all divisional. And I had to discuss that with the overlord, that it was Niambugi, several times to elevate them. It was quite difficult, but I got it. And that gave, because you see, you go to the regional House of Chiefs meeting, and from the Ghana side, it was only Niambugi was a paramount chief. So it was difficult for somebody from the Ghana side to be the president of the region. So those days you could hear of Azuma, Azuma, is it? No, that, I forgot it, I'll get it. They were always from the Dangwe side, and there was that complaint, right? And Niambugi was sick.
Yeah, for a long
time. So it meant that they were not well represented. And that was the fight. So I had to sit with Niambugi to elevate them. And I remember the day he agreed with me, I went to my office, typed a letter for him to release, because I don't want to leave and somebody will go and change his mind. Went to him, he signed the letter, and straight I gave it to the media and they announced. And then we started the process of, and that's how come we have now Nongwa as a paramount divisional, paramount distinct. Teshi is now paramount distinct. So they were happy with that one. The next thing I did, which cost me and Okanja the election, was the Jamestown, the slaughterhouse. The slaughterhouse, you know, they had a slaughterhouse. Yeah. You know, we built one at the Spinters there, the abattoir. I went to Jamestown, and my brother, if you see how they prepare these things for us, you never take meat. And I felt that, look, we need to do something about this. So we decided to pull the place down. They told me in clear language that if I tie this thing, don't vote for us, we'll lose the election. They told me on Okanja. Okanja was then the Minister for Interior, but he was the MP of the area, so I needed to collaborate with him. Yeah. So we said, look, if we can save people's lives and let these people push us out, well, I mean, but we hope that they will see wisdom in that and change their minds. So we pulled the thing down. They insulted us, we pulled the thing down and said to move them to the abattoir there. They really did what they said. Okanja lost it. But I think that if we are in office, you should think of the people. Sometimes you see, the people who want to move into fire, because maybe at that time it is convenient to move that way. But the effect of moving into the fire, sometimes some few people mislead majority because they're opinion leaders. So when you are in a public position like that and you see it, you have to help the people. And once they've been brainwashed to believe that what you've done is wrong, they will not move with you. But in the long run, they will move.
But years down the line, the abattoir, what happened to it?
The abattoir over there? At the Spintex. I think they've not been, we lost the election, so we couldn't continue to push them now to move there. And normally when a new government comes, this sort of mob politics and all those things to behave as if you are the saint and the pope, then you relax some of the distance. And that's one of the problems we are facing in this country. How to continue.
Because the abattoir is still
it's still there. If you go, you see my name there. Joshua Alabi, the plaque. I went to commission it. It's there. Right? But
But the one in Accra too is still there.
Yeah, we pulled ours down.
Yeah.
But I think that they've done
something just sprung up again.
Yeah, but I think we need to do something if we want to
use that place. What are some of your regrets when you were Greater Accra Regional Minister? Things that you believe that you should have done on hindsight that you didn't do.
A regional minister, you don't have a lot of power. The power.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's why they call the place the Regional Coordinating Council. The assemblies had the power, right? So you needed to be somebody who could push them to do the right thing. And if you are lucky and you get support from local government ministry and the president, then you can push your things through.
Okay.
Yeah. At that time, people even thought that the mayor of Accra was stronger than the regional minister.
Well, right? In Accra, in Kumasi, we always thought
so. So you needed to be very, very aggressive. I don't know of one thing, but I wanted to do an internal system where I could sit in my office to monitor their performance. And I started it, but we lost the election, so we couldn't continue. And because I wanted to be in charge. I was able to do that when I went to the north, to be in charge. So I was able to do my work. The north, when I went, the first thing I did was to reshuffle all the coordinating, the directors of the district. You are from Slag, I move you to the TAMALE. You are from this. You see, some were resisting it. Then I'll call and tell you that if you resist moving from here to here, it means that there's something you are getting here that we should all investigate, because it's the same work.
What brought about your reassignment to become Northern Regional Minister?
To the north?
Yeah.
I quite remember one day His Excellency called me, President Rawlings. I went to the castle, and he normally speaks Ghana language with me. But for the purpose of VS listeners, I think.
No, feel free, man.
He said, "Me to my Fenoko." He was then playing with some toys in his inner room. To my Fenoko, to my reshuffle. Minister said, "Imbo was wodo baya." Yo, no we call to reshuffle. Enough. I thought as much. I thought as much. You know how he talks. So okay, after some 1 or 2 talks, then he asked me to go.
So they took you to Northern Region.
Yeah.
And I remember they took Yanka.
But I was privileged,
Yeah.
We had regional ministers conference, and all the ministers were complaining bitterly that how can the man transfer us without discussing with us? You just get up and they say you are going to Ashanti. They were all complaining. Then I kept quiet. Then I realized that I was privileged. Because the man called me and asked me well enough to be.
Because he had a rapport with you.
He called me. So
I
didn't tell them the man called me because
then you'll be unpopular.
So we went to the north.
So you went to the north. Yanka went to Ashanti.
Region. Attah-Mensah went to why you complained several times. I believe then they brought him to Central Region. Attah-Mensah.
Oh, Attah-Mensah.
Edie went to Volta. But it was interesting, and the experiment was quite nice because you see, you work with free mind.
You think that can be done today?
Today, 2020. We can do that. We can do that.
Really?
If we want to do, we can do that.
Hear that even if you appoint a head of state institution and the person doesn't hail from the place, the foot soldiers will go and beat the person.
We should leave that. The whole thing is about service, not about your ego, your tribal ego.
Well, that's why we are.
See, it's about service. It's about the work you do, the quality. Look, when I went to the north, that was the time that we had shortage of foodstuffs in the country in this time. And some people were smuggling food to the neighboring country, Burkina Faso. I called the military and we planned and we stopped. No food will leave the north. And up to now they talk about it. And
it was quite it wasn't a comfortable period.
I made the students in the secondary schools never liked the local rice. Meanwhile, it was their parents who were farming. Right? So what did I do? One day, I made them cook local rice at the residency, jollof, everything, and invited some students from the secondary schools. They came to my house for lunch. It was nice, local rice. Then after that, I asked them whether they enjoyed the place. They say yes. I said, this is the local rice. If you enjoy this here, then you can enjoy this in your school and your parents can find money to help you. Then I instructed, henceforth, no secondary school in the northern region should use foreign rice. Right? It was a tough decision, but it went through. You are in charge.
You must have enjoyed your time being Northern Regional Minister.
Oh, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. But again, they were my people. They were my people. They loved me, I must admit. They loved me. Both the Christians and the Muslims would come and pray for me in the residency. They really loved me.
Let me do a quick fast forward. Yeah. So, 98, you became Northern Regional Minister, and then you led the NDC into the 2000 defeat.
No, the president brought me back 2000.
2000, yeah, okay, 2000.
Yeah, around January
so 2000. You came back to Greater Accra. So when we were going for the election, you were still Greater Accra Regional Minister?
Yes.
Okay, when NDC lost?
Yeah, we lost, yeah.
After that, you went back to teach full-time, is that correct?
Very interesting, no? When I started lecturing in UPSA, IPS, one day I told my director, the head at that time, the director.
Who's this person?
It was Boama.
Okay.
That one day I will sit in your chair and I will change the face of the school. They looked at me and laughed. He liked me, so he didn't see it as anything. Then he went on retirement. Another one came, Akofo. I went to him and told him that one day I will sit in this your chair and I will change this school. Jokingly, I was just joking. He said, oh, that's good, that's good. Yeah. Then, when I won my parliamentary elections, I wrote to the school that they should give me 4 years leave of absence, 4 years, which means that you can go and work, but you not enjoy any benefit from the school. But then you can come back after 4 years. My brother, I went 4 years, I lost the elections. See, so I tell myself sometimes the things we see. And when I lost the election, I went back, like I said. You know, because I told you that when I was leaving, when the registrar refused to accept my letter, the 4 years, he said, "But Joshua, this hopeless place, you are now this thing. Think of going up and you want to come back." I said, "Collect my letter." I said, 4 years, I'm coming back. But it was in me, not in me, to come back up because I know there will be another election. But 4 years I lost. And I went back. When I went back, before I left, I was a dean. When I went, people occupied the positions. So I was just a normal senior lecturer. Then later on became a head of department, became the dean, the rector, the rector, and the vice-chancellor. So what I said many years ago
had come to pass. But so about the transformation of the school, where you met the school, and this time I'm talking about where you met the school after your active politics, after being Greater Accra Regional Minister and going back, where you met it, up until where you left it. How do you account for this transformation?
The transformation started when I was the deputy. I moved to my boss then and told him that, look.
What was the name again?
Reverend J.J. Marty. He's an Anglican father, a very nice man. And told him that I want to take charge of the transformation, the degree program that we're mounting. I want to take charge because he formed some committees and they were not working. I want to take charge. He gave me the chance to do that. So I started with designing programs for the degree programs and all those things. And then he became interested himself. So we went to accreditation board. With difficulty, we got accreditation. So we started on a very light note. Having been a student there, a teacher there, and a lecturer there, I knew exactly what I wanted for the school, I must admit. You see, and in life, to transform a system, you need to have a purpose. You need to have the purpose, and that purpose must be backed by passion. So I had a purpose, I had a vision. I communicated a vision very well, and it was collectively accepted by the people. So now I have to drive it. And for the fact that I was a former student there, all my life has been tied around that school, I had that passion. You follow? So we started a transformation, and it was not easy. Normally when you transform and lay foundation, later people see it as ordinary because it is there. You know, I used to tell my children, when my father was farming, we used to sleep in the bush, the rice farm with bonfire. Okay, my father never built a house like that, but they are in now, so they don't see what I've done. No. But if they have slept in my father's rice farm, the bush, to see they will see the progress to this level. So for them, it is normal for them. Yeah. So one day I took them to TAMALE, the bush, to see where I used to sleep. We took plane one day for them to see life. So normally transformers suffer. They suffer because in the process of transformation, you step on toes. Yep, it's obvious. You step on toes, and you will succeed because you have the vision and you have the passion. Yeah. But when you lift, those you might have offended in the course of the transformation will now gang up and try to project you. It happened to this man at Gimpa.
Professor there.
Yeah, it happened to him. Yeah. I used to admire him a lot, and I still admire him.
No wonder you replicated his
I used to admire him, and I still like him. Except that sometimes his political stance are different from mine. But as a person,
that's okay.
As a person performing, I admire him perfectly. So in those days, I used to look at him and I said, "Oh yeah, if this man can make it, then me too, with my passion, I can also make it."
Now let me ask, because we are just running out of time. How do you feel today when you drive past UPSA?
I feel very fulfilled, not because of the infrastructure that you have seen. What people didn't know is that I took quite a school with a academic staff of about 20-something, and only one had PhD, and I needed to upgrade all of them. And the government was not going to pay salaries for new lecturers, so how do I get them to go to school and work at the same time? It was a big challenge. Very, very big challenge for me. Now, I believe before I left, we had getting to close to about 300, 400 lecturers. I feel happy. But it is not only that. My satisfaction is from the fact that I move around the school and I see a lot of businesses around the school.
Employing people.
Yes.
Yeah.
People have employed themselves as a result of the transformation of the school. That is my satisfaction. But the physical infrastructure is there. The programs are there. Yes, people see that. But people do not take that one into consideration. That anything that you do must lead to an add-on onto our economy. And I believe strongly that all the businesses around that area pay tax. Yeah. And that goes to the state. And they themselves have something for their families. So for me, that is my satisfaction.
Thank you very much, Professor Joshua Alabi. I think the whole thing about UPSA has been understated because for those of us who came close, we are able to attest to the work and the effort that you put in with your team. Now, what IPS was then and what UPSA is today is, like day and night, a wealth of difference. For the better, as you say, and we congratulate you for a great job done. And people like you, we should be humble enough to recognize and celebrate at all times. As you say, whether party A or party B, what you have done is there for everybody to see. And you haven't written anything, you haven't put your picture there that people should see, but the work is there. Thank you once again for giving us time.
Nice having you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, people, so it's been another edition of Footprint. My name is Attah-Mensah. See you next week.